It's midnight and you're tuning into Nightline with me, Muhammed, Ahmad, Hamdan, and here are the top stories. Malaysia, Kosovo to further explore cooperation across various strategic sectors. And no medicine price display summonses during 3-month grace period. Good morning. Bilateral relations between Malaysia and Kosovo were further strengthened with the official opening of the Republic's embassy in Kuala Lumpur on Friday. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said both countries are poised to deepen cooperation across a wide range of strategic sectors. Earlier, Kosovo's President, Vjosa Osmani Sadriu, was accorded an official welcome at the Perdana Putra complex as she commenced a 4-day official visit to Malaysia. Anwar greeted her upon her arrival at the complex at 9 a.m. After the national anthems of both countries were played, Osmani inspected the Guard of Honour mounted by the 1st Battalion of the Royal Malay Regiment. Following the welcoming ceremony, Anwar and Osmani proceeded to a bilateral meeting to discuss various matters of mutual interest. In a joint press conference later, Anwar described the establishment of the embassy as a significant milestone in bilateral relations which will facilitate trade, investment, education, culture and tourism between the two countries.
But more critically, the collaboration between trade investment so that we can utilize the strength of Kosovo and their strong relations with the EU.
Anwar also assured Osmani that formal bilateral discussions will be expedited to ensure the continuity of programs, projects and to further strengthen trade and economic relations. This marks Osmani's first visit to Malaysia since assuming office on April 4, 2021. Total bilateral trade between Malaysia and Kosovo last year amounted to over 28 million ringgit. Meanwhile, Osmani said Malaysia's contributions in assisting Kosovo during its most challenging times will not be forgotten. She noted that Malaysia was among the earliest countries to recognize Kosovo's independence in 2008.
It carried hope, it carried solidarity, and it carried a belief in our future and in our people. And for that, our gratitude will never fade.
She said it was a great honor for her to undertake an official visit to Malaysia, which she described as a key milestone in the friendship between the two countries. Kosovo and Malaysia have also agreed on the importance of expanding trade and encouraging greater investment in key sectors. Diplomatic relations between the two nations were formally established in 2011. At the same press conference, Osmani presented the Order of Independence, Kosovo's highest civilian honour, to the Prime Minister. This prestigious award is given to individuals who have made significant contributions in supporting Kosovo's independence. The order also recognizes Malaysia's unwavering support for Kosovo's statehood and post-independence development, as well as Anwar's steadfast commitment to strengthening bilateral ties between the two nations. Osmani will also posthumously confer the Order of Independence upon the late former Prime Minister Tun Abdullah Ahmad Badawi. This is in recognition of his leadership during a critical period in Kosovo's history. In another development, Anwar called for stronger regional cooperation to support humanitarian efforts in quake-hit Myanmar. The Prime Minister also underscored the need for an extended ceasefire to ensure the safety of aid workers. In a posting on his Facebook account, Anwar said a ceasefire in Myanmar was essential to ensure the effective distribution of humanitarian aid to the affected population. He highlighted this during a phone call with Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on Friday. Both leaders agreed that any form of aid to those affected by the devastating earthquake which struck Myanmar in late March should be disseminated without discrimination or restrictions. In a separate matter, Anwar pointed out Malaysia's potential to leverage its position as ASEAN chair to engage in global tariff discussions, particularly with the United States. He said the US decision to suspend the implementation of tariffs for 90 days provides relief for further discussion on certain matters, given Malaysia's strength in several types of products. Anwar also wished the Philippine president well for the general election on May 12th and expressed hope that they would meet at the upcoming ASEAN summit. No summonses will be issued during the first 3 months of the implementation of the Price Control and Anti-Profiteering Price Labelling for Medicines Order 2025. The Health Ministry, MOH, gave this assurance following the enforcement of the order, which, among others, requires private pharmacies and clinics to display the prices of medicines. The mandatory price labelling initiative, which officially began on Thursday, applies to all medicines for human use, including prescription and non-prescription drugs, over-the-counter medicines, traditional remedies, health supplements, and extemporaneous preparations. Health Deputy Director General for Pharmaceutical Services, Dr. Azwana Ramli, said the ministry's focus during the 3-month grace period is on education and advocacy.
Pencapaian ataupun kebolehkelaksanaan perintah inilah oleh pihak pelaksana, dan nanti kita akan lihat semula sama ada keperluan untuk penambahan tempoh atau terus kepada pelaksanaan secara total.
Dr. Azwana said this during a media briefing on the directive with Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry Enforcement Director General Dr. Azman Adam in Putrajaya on Friday. She added that based on discussions with relevant stakeholders, the majority expressed support for the regulation as a means to ensure greater transparency. She also clarified that no notices or fines were issued on the first day of the order's implementation. In other news, the Seberang Jaya Hospital in Pulau Pinang will become a cardiology and pediatric cardiothoracic care referral centre for the Northern Zone. Health Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said the move will reduce the need for referrals to the Pulau Pinang Hospital and speed up access to specialist treatment for the local community.
Ini adalah sekaligus yang akan dapat mengurangkan decongest hospital. Jadi zon utara, this is going to be rujukan utama zon utara ini.
Dr. Zulkifli said this to reporters at the project handing over ceremony by the Works Ministry to his ministry on Friday. He added that the new 10-storey facility will begin operations in stages from May 5th. The additional block at the hospital the provisions of the Act and to safeguard national interests. The statement was issued in response to a notice served on Petronas Carigali by Sarawak's Utility and Telecommunication Ministry on April 30th. In the notice, Petronas Carigali was accused of operating its Miri crude oil terminal without a state license, thereby breaching Section 7E of the Distribution of Gas Ordinance 2016. The company was given 21 days to rectify the matter, failing which it could face financial penalties under Section 21A of the ordinance. Petronas said it remains committed to constructive engagement and will continue working closely with both the federal and Sarawak state governments to explore future arrangements that ensure regulatory clarity and operational continuity.